Today on the audio hotline, I'm going to be reviewing a new product from Hollyland. This product is called the Lark 150, and as of shooting this video, it's not yet released, but by the time it comes out, maybe it will be released, but if not, it will be coming out very soon. The Lark 150 is a dual microphone wireless system. Now, it has some similarities to some other products out there, much like the Rode Wireless Go. And if you know what the Rode Wireless Go is, I'm sure you can see a little bit of a resemblance right here. But I will say that the Lark 150 takes the concept of the Rode Wireless Go and just raises it. There are a lot of cool accessories and features that come with this setup, but before we get into all of that, let's get mic'd. Welcome all audio and video nerds to the Audio Hotline. And as I said before, today I'm going to be reviewing the Hollyland Lark 150. Just as a quick disclaimer, I do want to say that the great people over at Hollyland did send this over to me. I'm under no obligation to give it a good review or say anything nice about it at all. They are not paying me for this. And let me be the first to tell you that this video is going to have a lot to it. It's going to be pretty lengthy. So if you just want to know certain things about the Lark 150, I'll let you know that there are timestamps down in the description. Now, one more quick disclaimer. I recently got hip surgery and sitting in this position is not comfortable at all. So if I'm changing shirts randomly throughout the video, I'm not being a diva. I might have to shoot this throughout different days. Well, I'm probably being a little bit of a diva though too. You know me, girl. Right now, I'm currently recording this into my Zoom H5. But don't worry though, I'm not only going to be using the Zoom H5 for this video, I will be plugging it into a couple different cameras, a couple different audio recorders, just to make sure that it works really well across the board. Now, the Lark 150 comes in at $329. Now, considering that you get two transmitters like this, a receiver, and two additional lav mics, and not to mention a charging case, I was honestly pretty surprised that it came in at $329. I mean, considering the fact that the Rode Wireless Go comes in for $200 and doesn't include a majority of that, I was kind of blown away. Like I said before, the microphone might be out by the time this video comes out, but if not, you still can pre-order it on B&H. Now let's go ahead and talk about what comes with the Lark 150 when you purchase it. The Hollyland Lark 150 dual wireless system comes with a charging case. This charging case is powered by a USB-C to USB-A cable. When you open the charging case, you will find two transmitters as well as a receiver. It also comes with two separate external lavalier microphones. Each lavalier microphone comes with two foam windscreens. And since the transmitters have two internal microphones, Hollyland included furry windscreens for each. This setup comes with a 3.5mm cable that goes from the receiver into your camera or audio recorder. This also comes with a Hollyland branded bag to store all of your accessories in. Now, everything in the box just feels absolutely amazing. It all feels really solid. It all feels really high end. The only thing that I will say is I do feel like the transmitters feel a little bit more plasticky than like the Rode Wireless Go transmitters, but I do like that they are a little bit more lightweight than the Rode ones and a little bit smaller. I don't know, it doesn't look as ridiculous when it's like this. Still a little ridiculous. I mean, the regular lav mic is gonna look a lot more natural, especially if you like hide it in your shirt. But the accessories that come with this are absolutely great. The charging case is so awesome. I love the like Apple AirPod concept. It's so cool to be able to put your transmitters and receiver in here and just have it charge. Have this charge it multiple times before you even need to worry about charging this. It's sick. But now that we've talked about the accessories that come with this, I want to go over some of the features within these different accessories. The charging case included with the Lark 150 can charge the transmitter and receiver multiple times. In fact, it can charge all of these things about 2.5 times before the charging case itself needs to be charged again. When it comes to charging time, the transmitters can fully charge in a little bit under an hour and 15 minutes. Now, the receiver can fully charge in about an hour and a half. Now, when you initially open the charging case, the receiver's screen will light up and show you the battery indication for all of the devices. When using the receiver, you will be able to see the receiver's battery level as well as the transmitter's battery level that is connected. In addition to that, you will be able to see if it has a good signal to the transmitter, and you'll also be able to see a meter to make sure you're not clipping. On the front of the receiver, you will see 2 volume dials. These are where you can control the output gain of each of the transmitter's microphones. If you press and hold the dial on the left side, it will switch between the 3 different modes. The 3 modes are mono, safety track, and stereo. If you short press the left or right dial, it will mute the designated transmitter. The receiver has a clip on the bottom that makes it easy to clip to your bag, your belt, wherever you want to monitor the audio, but the nicest part is that this clip also fits in the hot shoe of a camera. On the right side of the receiver, you will see a power button, but also a headphone jack. Now on the left side of the receiver is your line out, and that's where you would plug in that included 3.5mm TRS cable, and on the other end you'd plug it into your camera or your audio recorder. On the transmitters there is a power button that also doubles as a mute button. If you long press that button, it will turn it off or on. If you short press, it will mute it. Much like the receiver, there is a clip on the transmitter that you can attach to your pocket, your belt, or your shirt if you're going to use it as a lav mic, but it also does fit in a cold shoe or hot shoe on a camera. On the top of the transmitter, you will find the microphone capsule. You will also find a 3.5mm jack where you can plug in an external lav mic. You also can plug in an assortment of different microphones as long as they do not require power or are self-powered. Now when it comes to the features of the Lark 150, I feel like this thing is very impressive in the way that it functions. It has a lot of nice features and a lot of things that just make sense and a lot of things that just work well without you having to think about it. Now when it comes to the different recording modes feature on the receiver, I do have one complaint. Like I said before, you have the option between mono, safety track, and stereo, which is all fantastic. And this might seem a little bit nitpicky, but when you go from mono to safety track is labeled ST. Now people in audio probably know this, but what is the abbreviation for stereo? You got it, it's ST. So when I first got this, I was like, oh cool, mono, okay cool, there's stereo mode. Then I click it one more time and I'm like, there's stereo mode. If they could have named that like safe or something, that would be amazing, because I could definitely see myself being in a situation where I'm using this to record and I go to ST mode and my brain's just like, oh, I'm in stereo mode, I'm good to go, and the take is ruined. Well, earlier I did predict that I might have to take a break because I just got hip surgery and this is very uncomfortable, and that ended up happening. So here I am, I'm back. By the way, I'm not using this microphone right now. I don't know why it's in this shot. I like that the accessories and the features that it has just work well. You don't have to think about it, it just works. And the fact that this thing connects up as fast as it does is honestly impressive. Well, now that I've talked about what comes with this microphone, as well as the different features it has, now let's go ahead and nerd out and talk about any of the specs that we need to cover. The system specs for the Hollyland Lark 150 consist of a max operating range of 100 meters line of sight. That is basically 330 feet. This has a latency of less than 5 milliseconds, a dynamic range of 100 dBA, and when it comes to the Lark 150 receiver, this unit has 2 audio channels, a 3.5mm TRS output, a capable frequency response of 20 Hz to 20 kHz, an internal battery capacity of 530 milliamp hours, and an approximate battery life of 7.5 hours. Now the transmitter specs for the Lark 150 is that it has an audio input level of -65 dBV, a frequency response of 20 Hz to 20 kHz, an internal battery capacity of 200 milliamp hours, and an approximate battery life of 4.5 hours. The external lavalier microphones that are included with this have a mono sound field. They have an electric condenser capsule and an omnidirectional polar pattern, and also a max SPL of 100 decibels. Well, now that we've gone through some basics, some features, and some specs, now let's go ahead and test this dual wireless system out a little bit. Now we're not going to do all of the tests that I usually do because some of them don't really apply to this kind of setup, but we will do a bunch of other tests. Once again, some timestamps down below if you want to see certain tests. But let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, if you wanted to get pretty close to the microphone in the transmitter, here's how it would sound. Now, if you want to get pretty close to the transmitter but have the furry windscreen on, which I do recommend, here's how it would sound like that. Now, if you want to get pretty close to the included lav mic, here's how it is going to sound. Now, this next part might be a little bit rough. I am going to do some plosives, but I'm going to kind of aim them down a little bit because most people aren't going to have these right up to their mouth. Peter Piper picked a patch of pickled peanutses. 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 Now, if you talk directly into the front of the capsule on the transmitter and you slowly move it around, here is how it sounds. Now we're going up the side, and here is how it sounds. Now, if you talk into the front of the lav mic and you slowly turn it around, here is how it's going to sound as we move around the capsule. Now, just to get an even better representation, I'm going to use some white noise. Now, if you wanted to essentially use this as a wireless system for a different microphone, one thing you could do is have one transmitter plugged into a shotgun microphone like this, and then be wearing the other as a lav mic, which is a great idea, actually. It's an awesome little safety track thing to do. But this microphone powers itself, but you could get something like the Rode Video Micro or the Movo VXR10 Pro and use the transmitter with one of those. So this isn't really about this microphone's sound or anything like that. It's more just about the fact that it can do this sort of connection.
Dear everyone in the world, if you are not subscribed to the Audio Hotline, you can suck an ass. P.S. Audio Hotline merch now available. Send.
Sorry, I just had to take care of one thing real quick. Let's go ahead and start doing a sound effects test now. And since I'm doing this sound effects test, I don't know which camera to look at. It's weird right now. But I will say that if you want to do sound effects, getting one of these friction arms is a very good investment. That's what I use this whole time. So right now I'm just in my backyard doing a real quick distance test. It is absolutely freezing out here. There is definitely some wind, so I do have the furry little windscreen on, but I do apologize, I'm on crutches due to recent hip surgery, so it's going to be loud, and I also have a loud jacket, so when I'm walking, might not sound amazing, but just heads up. One more thing, I am currently plugged into my Canon R5. I have the R5 preamps turned all the way down, and I'm just getting all of my gain essentially from the Lark 150. This is about 15 feet away from the camera and the receiver, and here's what it sounds like. When we get back all the way to that other fence, I am gonna walk behind the house and just see if it can pick up through all these walls. So right now I'm about 40 feet away from the receiver. Wind's picking up a little bit. Here's how it sounds. I would say I'm about 60 to 65 feet away from the receiver, and in an open field it does say that you can get really far, like up to 100 meters I think is what it says, which is crazy. But right now I'm going to check how well it deals with this distance as well as some interference. And I mean, like, when I go behind this house, there's going to be tons of walls in between the transmitter and the receiver, so this isn't really fair. We'll do another quick test inside with just like a wall or two in between it, just to see how it deals with it, but let's give this a shot. All right, so we're going, we're doing it, and now I am the side of the camera. You guys miss me? Did you miss me? Come on, you did. According to my beautiful wife's face right now, it seemed like we did have some drop off when I went behind the house for sure. Yes, okay. But that's the distance test. Now we'll go inside and do a couple interview-ish distance tests. So this is somewhat of like a mock interview setup. Right now I'm in a completely untreated room. And believe it or not, I'm actually 30 feet away from the camera right now. I'm just using a telephoto lens, so it seems like you're right here with me. So here's just a quick test that if I'm in a room with, walls and everything, but I'm in the line of sight of the receiver, if this will work well. Now, if you want a microphone setup that isn't as obvious as the transmitter, here's just with the regular lav mic. But one thing I want to do really quick is just walk over this way and get in the way of a wall with the receiver and just see how it handles just one singular wall. Because in a situation where you're like run and gun and maybe you have a lav on a person that's about to go into the bathroom and you want some freaking amazing audio, let's see if it can go through one wall. I'm gonna walk this way, get out of line of sight. Now I definitely don't see the receiver. I'm definitely not in the line of sight of the receiver. And this whole time, I am by like a granite island, so that probably doesn't help at all either. But hey, yeah. Bye. Well, now that we've gone through the basics, the specs, the features, we tested this setup out. Now I'm going to go ahead and get to my review, my opinion of the Lark 150. Now, I've never really been a person to feature a lot of lav mics. However, I've had them for a long time, and I just kind of always used them as a backup. Just an additional way of capturing audio in case my main source messes up. But over the years, I've learned to appreciate them more and more and like them more and more. Now, when it comes to the Lark 150 at $329, I'm just gonna come out and say it, I think it is a very good deal. But where this really shines, where other competitors don't, is the fact that this has two transmitters. So the idea of being able to do an interview really easily is fantastic. But as I stated earlier, my favorite thing about the two transmitters is for backup. If you have the transmitter plugged into your shotgun microphone and then you have your lav on your body hidden as a backup, or the shotgun as a backup, whichever one you want, man, I don't know. It's fantastic to have a backup track like that. One of my favorite things about these small little transmitters and the fact that they have microphones on them is being able to get sound effects out of them. No, they aren't super clean and super clear microphone sound or anything, but you can get them into a lot of places that you otherwise wouldn't be able to get to. And for that, I think it's very solid. Now, when it comes to the distance test, I think that these are completely adequate. I mean, maybe in a completely open field, they would reach the 100-meter mark. I don't know. But I still thought that it did a really good job overall. But maybe one of the biggest surprises is the fact that you can get this microphone pretty close to your mouth like this, and it sounds pretty solid. It's a little hyped, don't get me wrong, it is. But the fact that you can do this and actually get a good sound out of it makes this setup even more versatile. Versatile? Versatile. Yeah. Actually, when I was recording what comes with this microphone as well as the features, I was actually just using the microphone like this with the furry windscreen in place. And I actually had it plugged directly into my 3.5mm jack on my MacBook Pro. The only thing is that if you are going to do that and you want to be able to record into your computer or your phone or your tablet, you will need a TRS to TRRS adapter. But if you are wanting to get one of these, I definitely recommend getting a cable like that or an adapter because it just unlocks way more possibilities and ways to record this setup. I really do think that my main gripe with this setup is the way that safety track is labeled, which sounds silly. The charging case and how it just magnetically charges everything is so freaking sweet. It just feels like you're using a really nice product, and you are. So the grade that I give the Hollyland Lark 150 dual wireless setup is an A. I definitely recommend this, even though it does seem a little steep on price, it is absolutely worth it. Thank you all for watching this review where I held a little furry windscreen in front of my face. I hope that it helped you out and helped you decide whether you want to get the Lark 150 or not, but most of all, I hope you had fun. Stay tuned for a lot more reviews and comparisons and other audio and video related stuff. Once again, a thank you to Hollyland for letting me try out their Lark 150 setup, and an even bigger thank you to everyone that has subscribed to this channel. Recently hit 10,000 subscribers, and that is awesome. It's fantastic. And I freaking love you for it. But seriously, I really do appreciate each and every one of you. But once again, thank you all for watching the Audio Hotline, and I'll see you audio and video nerds next time.